What happens when an ancient curse awakens and a young girl defies the forest's deadly guardian to save her family? Watch till the end to uncover the shocking truth. Before we begin this journey into the heart of Oko Forest, where ancient curses and powerful guardians await, make sure to hit that like button, share this story with your friends, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any twists or secrets revealed along the way. Now, let's step into the unknown and uncover the mystery of a young girl who dares to defy fate. Long ago, the village of Oko was protected by a powerful guardian spirit, Oke, who dwelled deep within the heart of the forest. The villagers revered the forest, for it was said that Oke could bring prosperity or doom. A pact was made. Every generation must offer a sacrifice to keep the balance. But as time passed, the forest grew darker, and the spirits grew restless. The once peaceful land became a place of fear and mystery, where no one dared venture too far. The ancient curse remains, waiting for someone brave enough to challenge it. One fateful evening, Tunde, a young villager, set out into the heart of Oko Forest to gather rare herbs for his sick mother. The villagers warned him of the dangers lurking beyond the tree line, but his determination was unshaken. As the night deepened, he never returned. His family searched desperately, calling out his name, but the forest remained eerily silent. Whispers spread through the village. Some believed the spirits had claimed him, while others spoke of the ancient curse awakening once more. Tunde's disappearance marked the beginning of a dark journey that no one could escape. Amina, Tunde's older sister, refused to believe the forest had claimed her brother. Desperation and love fueled her resolve. She couldn't sit idly by while her family mourned. Despite the elders' warnings about the forest's curse, she packed a small bag, her heart heavy but determined. Kofi, her childhood friend, offered to accompany her, though fear flickered in his eyes. Together they set off at dawn, crossing the village gates. As they walked toward the dark forest, the weight of their decision pressed on them. Amina's only thought was to find Tunde, no matter the cost. The village elders gathered in the central hut, their faces etched with age and wisdom. They spoke of the ancient curse that had plagued Oko Forest for generations. The forest has claimed many souls, they warned Amina, and no one who ventured too deep has ever returned. Their voices trembled as they recounted stories of those who had tried to break the curse, only to fall victim to the wrath of Oka, the forest's guardian spirit. Despite their warnings, Amina stood firm, her resolve unwavering. "I must find my brother," she said. "The curse ends with me." Determined to understand the curse, Amina sought out her grandmother's old journal, filled with stories of their ancestors. The faded pages told of a pact made long ago, when her great-grandfather had struck a deal with Oke to protect the village. The price for this protection was steep. Every generation, a life would be offered in exchange for peace. Amina's heart sank as she realized the depth of the village's bargain. Her family had been complicit in maintaining the curse. But now, with Tunde missing, Amina felt a fire ignite within her. This cycle would end with her. In the journal, Amina discovered a hidden, forbidden ritual, described in cryptic words. It spoke of an ancient artifact known as the Eye of the Beast, a powerful relic believed to be hidden deep within Oko Forest. The ritual, if performed correctly, could break the curse and free the souls trapped by the spirit of Oak. But the warning was clear. Attempting it could lead to grave consequences. Amina's heart raced as she realized this was her only hope of saving Tunde. Despite the risks, she knew there was no turning back. The path to the eye was fraught with danger. At dawn, Amina and Kofi began their journey into the heart of Oko Forest. The village disappeared behind them as they crossed into the dense, shadowed woods. The towering trees seemed to close in around them, their twisted branches creating an impenetrable canopy. The air grew heavy, thick with fog, and the forest floor was slick with dew. Every step felt weighted, as if the land itself was alive, watching them. Amina could feel the pull of something ancient, something powerful, deep within. With each passing moment, the forest seemed to grow darker, more foreboding, but she pushed on. As they ventured deeper into the forest, Amina and Kofi stumbled upon strange, ancient symbols carved into the bark of trees. These markings, unlike anything they'd seen before, seemed to glow faintly in the dim light. Kofi's unease grew, his eyes darting nervously as the whispers of the forest grew louder, though there was no one around. Suddenly, a soft rustle from the underbrush caught their attention. The air grew colder, and the path ahead became obscured by thick mist. Amina's heart pounded, but she pressed forward, determined. Something in the forest was watching them, waiting. As the mist thickened around them, Amina began hearing a faint, whispering voice carried by the wind. At first, it was barely audible, like a soft murmur just out of reach. Then it became clearer, calling her name. Amina! The voice seemed to echo through the trees, chilling her to the bone. Kofi stopped in his tracks, looking around frantically, but saw nothing. The air grew heavier, almost suffocating, as if the forest itself was alive with ancient energy. Amina felt an unexplainable pull toward the voice, though doubt and fear clawed at her mind. She had no choice but to follow. The deeper they ventured into the forest, the more distorted reality seemed to become. Hours passed, but the landscape remained eerily unchanged. The path they walked appeared to loop back on itself, as though the forest was reshaping around them. Amina checked the sun, but it didn't move. It hung unnaturally still in the sky. The dense fog seemed to grow thicker, swallowing the light. Kofi's voice trembled, questioning whether they were trapped in some kind of illusion. Amina felt the weight of the forest's power pressing down on them, and a growing sense of dread filled her heart. Suddenly, The forest fell silent. The wind stopped, and the rustling leaves became still. From the shadows, a towering figure emerged, a figure of smoke and darkness, its eyes glowing an unsettling red. It was Oko, the forest's ancient guardian. His voice, deep and otherworldly, echoed through the trees. "You dare to enter my domain," Oak rumbled, his presence suffocating. "Turn back now, or face the consequences." Amina stood her ground, her resolve unshaken. She knew the stakes were too high. The guardian's eyes bore into her, yet she refused to yield. "I will find my brother," she declared firmly. Oko's massive form loomed over Amina and Kofi, the air thick with a supernatural energy. "To proceed, you must prove your worth," the guardian declared, his voice like thunder. He presented them with an ancient riddle, one that had defeated generations before them. Amina's heart raced, but she steeled herself, focusing on the puzzle's meaning. Every word of the riddle felt like a test of not just knowledge, but of courage. As she spoke the answer aloud, the ground trembled. The forest seemed to pause, waiting for her to fail. But Amina's voice rang clear, her conviction unwavering. After solving the riddle, Amina and Kofi ventured deeper into the forest, their path now guided by an invisible force. As the dense trees parted, they stumbled upon a hidden cave, its entrance guarded by ancient symbols and bones, a stark warning to any who dared approach. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of damp earth and decay. At the heart of the cave, a dark stone pulsed with an eerie light, the eye of the beast. The moment Amina reached for it, a surge of energy flooded the cave, and the ground beneath them shook violently. The curse had awakened. As Amina touched the eye of the beast, a flood of visions overwhelmed her. She saw Tunde, but he was no longer the brother she knew. His eyes glowed with an unnatural light, and his body seemed twisted by dark forces. The truth hit her like a tidal wave. Tunde hadn't just been taken by the spirit. He had been transformed into something darker, a vessel for the curse. The village's pact with Oko had not protected them. It had trapped them in an endless cycle of sacrifice. The realization shattered her, but it also fueled her determination to end the curse. As Amina's visions continued, she uncovered a horrifying secret. Her great-grandfather's pact with Oak had been a lie. The village had never been truly protected. The curse that had plagued Oko Forest was never meant to end, only to continue. Her ancestors had willingly offered sacrifices, feeding the spirit with innocent lives in exchange for false promises of prosperity. The truth was darker than she could have imagined. The village's safety had come at the cost of countless souls, including her own family's. Her heart shattered as she realized the depth of the betrayal, but it only made her resolve stronger to break the cycle. With the eye of the beast in her grasp, the ground beneath Amina trembled violently, and a low growl echoed through the cave. From the shadows emerged the true form of the beast, an enormous, shadowy creature made of mist and ancient power, its glowing eyes burning with fury. The cave seemed to come alive as it writhed with dark energy. The beast let out a deafening roar, and Amina could feel the weight of centuries of souls trapped within it. Her heartbeat quickened as the spirit lunged toward her, its monstrous form reflecting the curse that had been awakened. The fight for her brother's soul had begun. Amina stood face to face with the beast, her body trembling, but her resolve unwavering. The cavern was alive with supernatural energy as the creature loomed over her, its shadow swallowing the light. "You cannot defeat me," it growled, its voice filled with ancient power. But Amina refused to back down. Her mind raced, recalling the lessons of her ancestors and the strength of her love for Tunde. With a cry of defiance, she summoned all her courage, confronting the beast with every ounce of her will. The air crackled with tension, and the ground trembled as the battle for her brother's soul reached its peak. As Amina faced the beast, she realized the only way to break the curse was to make the ultimate sacrifice. The guardian spirit Oak had warned her. The price for freedom was always steep. Her heart ached as she understood that to save her brother and the village, she had to give up her own soul. She approached the beast, her voice steady as she spoke the ancient words of the ritual. The cave trembled, the energy around her swirling violently. In that moment, Amina felt herself fading, but her heart was at peace, knowing she had ended the curse even at her own cost. As Amina's sacrifice lifted the curse, the forest began to change. The oppressive darkness faded, and light filtered through the once foreboding trees. The spirits trapped in the forest were freed, their ethereal forms dissipating into the sky. Amina's body, now lifeless, lay at the heart of the cave. Tunde, released from the beast's grip, staggered forward, his eyes filled with sorrow and gratitude. He knelt beside his sister, the weight of their shared sacrifice heavy in his heart. The village, now free from the curse, would never know the price Amina paid. The last whisper of her voice echoed, "I did it for you." Years passed, and the village of Oko flourished, unaware of the dark history that had been buried. The forest, now serene, stood as a silent guardian, holding its secrets close. The next generation, free from the curse, played and lived without fear. Yet, deep within the forest, a whisper lingered, soft and almost imperceptible. The forest, though no longer consumed by the curse, still held a power, one that awaited another soul brave enough to seek its depths. The cycle had ended for now, but, as all legends go, another would rise. Oko's secret would never truly be forgotten.